Welcome to the 63rd episode of the Mayor's Mixtape. I'm Haley Sue Robinson.
63rd?
Yeah. Last week was 62.
Oh. Well, okay.
I'm Haley Sue Robinson, the Director of Public Affairs for the City of Pueblo.
I'm Heather Graham, City of Pueblo Mayor.
Brian McCain, Chief of Staff.
And want to remind the listener, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Buzzsprout, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch on local channel 17. And if you have questions or topic suggestions, you can email us, mayor@pueblo.us. Mayor, we had a busy week last week before the weekend, and there's been a lot that's happened since the last time we had the podcast. So I thought I would talk about the Falcon in the room. And
that's catchy.
Yeah, I thought so too. So we had city council, a couple of councilors that hosted a town hall last week, and then you hosted a press conference to talk about Project Falcon. I just wanted to outright ask you a couple of questions that I think a lot of people are curious about. One in particular is, did you sign the NDA with Project Falcon?
Yeah, so I signed on behalf of the entire city. So that encompasses all elected officials and all city staff that's been working. And this was done probably in October of last year. So we've been under NDA for quite some time.
Okay. And also, did you violate the NDA last week during your press conference?
I did not.
Okay.
The term tissue manufacturing was put out by the company.
Okay. By Project Falcon.
Once that term was made public by the company, it no longer fell within the NDA.
Got it. So once it becomes publicly available, it's no longer within the NDA guidelines.
Correct. Yep. And there was several things going back and forth with Project Falcon that at one time we were under NDA. But through the process and city council being able to communicate recently, before the councilors gave their town hall on Wednesday, a lot of the information that they were disclosing was also under the NDA. And so we had to go back and forth with the company and get specific permissions of things that we were allowed to talk to. One of the most misleading things I've been hearing in the community is there was still to be further negotiations. That is not true. We have negotiated to the point where it was to be made public at this point. That is why it was on the agenda for discussion. So it has been very secretive for quite some time in order for the city to get their negotiations completed. But what people saw on the agenda with the MOU, if people had the chance to look at it, that was the end negotiated product. And the reason that is because it is literally everything that the city has to offer. There is nothing more that the city could negotiate that would be favorable to Project Falcon. So the land for free, the infrastructure, and the $15 million in cash for jobs, that's the max value at this point that the city has to offer in incentives. So we are to that point that the public should be weighing in on these topics.
Got it.
And so that is why Project Falcon allowed city council to have talking points, to be able to go and have the public discussion that they were going to have at the regular meeting on June 22nd. So yes, at some time we were all under NDA for specific terms, specific parts of the negotiations, but that was worked out because we are at that public process point now.
So most of the information is kept confidential throughout the negotiations portion of conversation with any project. And then when this MOU comes forward, that's the signal to the community that then we can start to talk about some things. So some of the things that were also shared that was some misinformation was like that it was a AI data center, that folks had other ideas of what this project was going to be. And so then there was some clarification of its advanced manufacturing.
Yep.
and
paper goods.
consumer goods.
Consumer goods. All of that
Consumer
was
packaged goods.
Consumer packaged goods. All of that was the company gave those talking points to City Council to be able to articulate at the town hall during their public comments.
Got it.
That comes from the company.
Okay. Another thing that we talked about last week was, some of the process, but I thought it was interesting. You shared yesterday that not only was this MOU going to be on council's agenda, then we would have seen the jobs agreement. But then can you talk about the full process of what it looks like all the way through?
Yeah. So as far as the city, the MOU was going to be the starting point.
Okay.
Where it would kind of signal to all of the other entities that they're asking for incentive packages from, right? Because the city's is the second largest portion.
Okay.
And so if the city isn't able to do the max value of what Project Falcon is requesting, then why should the other entities continue down the path? Because it does have a cost to it.
Okay.
So City Council was to review, approve, or deny the MOU. Working at the same time was the Urban Renewal Authority and creating a TIF district for this area. So there has been blight studies. All of this stuff costs money that the Urban Renewal has to pay in order to hire somebody to come in and do these studies. So those have been ongoing.
Okay.
The Pura board today at their meeting was supposed to give same kind of direction that City Council gives. Yes, move forward. Yes, continue working with the taxing entities to see if they're going to agree. Project Falcon also requested that all be moved off of Pura's agenda today. But what would have happened is Pura would have voted today. Yes, do you want to continue the due diligence process? Yes, do you want to continue to go to the taxing entities? So the taxing entities are made up of their own separate boards that have no control over the government and over elected officials. So you have District 60, District 70, the library, and the water. Okay. And so Pura would then go to each of these board meetings and they would present. We call it like going on the road show. I just did it with Pura for CSU Pueblo. And you have to go and you have to ask these different boards and districts that they represent to give up their property tax for 25 years.
Got it.
So this would have become a very public discussion outside of county commissioners, outside of city council, outside of the mayor, because in order for Pura to take a bond or to create a district, you have to have all of the taxing entities willing to give up their 25 years worth of property tax.
They have to grant their permission and
they
say
all
that
have
they're
separate
bought
agreements.
Yeah.
Where there will be a public hearing.
Got it.
Where people can come and testify. So
people could testify at each one of their board
100%.
Meetings as well, like the school board meetings.
They all take public comment.
Got it. Okay.
So this wasn't going to be just a signed, stamped, approved deal, by the city. The city is the last taxing authority to approve the plan for urban renewal. So this would have all ran consecutively, but per statute for the Urban Renewal Authority, you have 120 days of negotiation period. So this process would have continued for 4 months.
So, like you mentioned that today would have been the Pura board meeting.
Kickoff, yep.
So would today have signaled the beginning of the 120 days?
Yep.
Okay.
Where they would go and meet with each of these bodies, request their 25 years, numbers and calculations would all be happening over that point. Plans would be developed. They would take it to each of the boards. Each of the boards would have to approve. There would all be public comment. And so we are to that point where this is the time for the public to weigh in.
Sure.
And I think the public is frustrating, as they should be. This has been so hyped up, right? And within 22 hours of the city and the mayor and the community starting to have any kind of public discourse, Project Falcon asked to be removed from the agenda. So you kind of have to be wondering, why doesn't Project Falcon want that public discourse to happen? It has to happen. These are taxpayer dollars, public dollars.
It's a required part of the process.
100%.
Understood. Okay. Anything else in particular you'd like to add about Project Falcon?
No, I mean, there was, discussion last night from the city council that, this project wasn't done. That tells me the city council has been having private conversations with Project Falcon outside of the city, which we think has been going on this entire time, which is fine. If they want to bring it back to the agenda, it's fine. My stance isn't going to change unless the incentive package ultimately changes. And we'll have those discussions when that time happens. But the public needs to know that the negotiations have happened, and now this is your time to weigh in. This was not premature. This is right where you're supposed to be. Public discourse should happen, and it should happen now.
Okay. Great. All right. So last night we had a city council meeting, fairly large meeting to start, pretty packed chambers. We had 12 ordinances on final reading. We have 20 ordinances, now 19 that will be on final reading for June 22nd. So they were on first reading last night. One of the ordinances that was approved last night was an ordinance you brought forward with our retired police chief, Troy Davenport, for the Fallen Officer Memorial Fund. Can we talk a little bit about that and the funding source for that project?
Yeah, sure. So as you know, they've been working on this project for quite some time to try to raise the funds in order to put the memorial up. And as I stated, there were several of us, city council, community members, staff who went in May to go to the Fallen Officer Memorial. And that time I really just said, we need to get this done.
Yeah.
This is a good thing for our community. This is stuff that we can all have buy-in on. So then I started lobbying the Urban Renewal Authority and the commissioners about trying to come up with the funding in order to get this project done.
Great. And, we heard from quite a few community members, former police officers, not just Pueblo Police. We heard from the Sheriff's Department. We heard from State Patrol. This really has good community support. And had to laugh when President Aliff said that you could come and oppose this at your own peril.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty moving.
Yeah.
And so that passed 7-0.
Yeah, it was good. Thank you, City Council, for supporting law enforcement and really supporting a site where community members can go and reflect and remember officers who are gone too soon.
Yeah. Okay. Additionally, last night, council approved some waiver fees to wastewater connection fees for Phase 2 of Pueblo Springs Apartments. Those are the new apartments that are near Station 11 on the west side. And this is for an additional 112 units. And the developer explained last night that he's been in talks with also bringing a grocery store to the west side between 24th and 31st Streets. I was curious, how have you or how has city staff been involved with this development process?
Yeah, city staff's been heavily involved even before my term. Previous administration granted. It was one of the very first things that was kind of the carryover from when Mayor Gradisher left to I came in. This was a agenda item, so it's something that he had been working on. Same type of deal, doing the waivers for wastewater improvements. For attainable housing. So the city has worked very closely with Emory. He's a good developer. He's a good partner in our community. Gets his projects done very quick. So we were happy to support the waiver of the wastewater fees in order to get these units. I think he said it's 70% full for his current. And I think we did the ribbon cutting in August of last year. So that's pretty dang good to be 70% full. And
and when we did the ribbon cutting in August, they actually hadn't totally completed all of the construction. They just opened that first half. it's like the first half of the first phase, basically. And so then they actually didn't finish the full project until January was when all of the units were available for occupancy. So 70% in 6 months.
It's pretty good.
Is really good. Yeah.
I mean, we're also meeting with him on the grocery store that he talked about. And we're going through the annexation and subdivision process with him right now for that grocery store. So it's going to be an exciting addition to the west side.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that Bear Odom, our director of planning, also talked about was we'll see additional things come forward as far as planning and zoning and updates there. But another thing I was surprised was it's a $28 million project.
Yeah, it's huge.
So this is pretty significant for the city. And then, as I mentioned, 112 units. Another thing that was interesting last night too was that I guess we got some mood lighting. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, we just had to move.
Yeah.
Was that all of the 3 bedrooms at the apartments are full, and so that tells me that there's
families.
There's demand for families. So, anything else you'd like to add about last night? I know it was a long agenda, but there were also just some things that were kind of a little bit routine as far as like the Jackson and Adams roundabout.
CSAC.
Yeah. So, anything else you'd like to add, Mayor?
No, it was a good night at City Council.
Yeah. Couple of upcoming events. We have 2 more town halls this week. One tonight at 5:30, Lucero Library. Another one on Thursday at the YMCA. As a reminder, those are budget town halls talking about budget for 2026 and what folks want to see for 2027. I'm hoping the folks notice the Mona Lisa edition.
Yeah.
It is Leonardo da Vinci grand opening week.
Yep.
So we'll see that on Friday, 10 a.m. Oh, and I also don't want to skip, we have the community dog walk Wednesday night at the Riverwalk.
We're busy all week.
We're very busy this week. So Tuesday night, town hall. Wednesday night, dog walk. Thursday night, town hall. Friday, grand opening. Also, Saturday, we have e-waste recycling at RecycleWorks from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1595 Stockyard Road. And one more thing that's upcoming is we have an open house for the Pueblo Shelter.
Oh, yep. Next
Thursday. That's from 2 to 5. And we're going to have some folks next week on the podcast to talk to us about that open house from Safe Side Recovery. So that'll be good.
Great.
Anything that I'm missing?
Do you have a list of what you can bring to the e-waste recycling event?
Oh, did you want me to read it? I don't have all of them, but I have quite a few. Microwaves, TVs, power cords, radio, cell phones, and more. If you want the full list, because it's like probably 30 or 40 items long, you can go to the city's Facebook page. You can find us on Nextdoor. And we also put out a release about that as well. I think the health department also has that information on their Facebook page as well. I can't name all of it, Brian. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We get a lot of calls and emails about where can I take my TV or my old computer.
Yep.
So I think it's important to get that out there, that this is the place that you can actually do that.
Well, and that's what everyone asks us during our big cleanup event is, can I bring my TV? No, you can't bring e-waste, but this is the event that you can bring your e-waste. So, and also people ask, what is e-waste? Electronic waste. Okay. We're very busy. It's very exciting. A lot of fun things going on in Pueblo.
And it's very hot.
It's very hot. It is.
Stay cool, Pueblo.
Very hot. I got my first sunburn already. It's good stuff. Okay, want to remind you, you can find us on YouTube, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can email us, mayor@pueblo.us. Find us on local channel 17. And we will see you next week.